Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Wednesday, the 25th of March. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts, and I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com. It's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, great. Okay, we are still seeing some rally here. We haven't got back up into the initial rally high. But actually, I'm a little surprised to see the rally is ongoing, and delighted because really I would like to see my right shoulders form on the couple of head and shoulders I was writing about yesterday, and it looks as though I might get those. I mean, really, even if we just go sideways for a couple of weeks, that will give it to me. And next week, well, I'm optimistic. Obviously, this is only seasonal. News can overcome it, but next week is a holiday week. We've got bullish leaning days on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tuesday is neutral, and Friday, of course, is Good Friday, so it's closed. That is a bullish leaning week, and I would love to see the market rally through that week as well, and that could give us some pretty decent looking right shoulders for the head shoulder patterns. It would also be nice if it went a bit higher. That might be a little bit of a problem in the absence of good news, but even in the absence of good news, we're seeing oil down overnight. We're seeing ES currently up 50 overnight. Not sure why, but more of the same would be great. And I'd love to see this last a couple of weeks, and we will see how it goes. All right, no current divergence. NQ hasn't made the possible limits target yet. Again, hasn't got back up to this initial spike high yet. But it's looking kind of promising to get there. We're almost back at that spike high on RTY. No current divergence there too. We've not really been moving enough to get any. And again, not that far away from the spike high on YM. I would like to see these go higher. DAX is back at the spike high now. ESTX has gone slightly above it. And Nikkei, there could be, you could see a lot of these patterns as inverted head and shoulders here, but the necklines are not our friends here. If I ignored the spikes up, well, I don't do that. So, but I could draw in necklines here, but they're not great patterns. I was looking at a series of similar patterns on crypto, but those are all actually decent technically valid patterns. These are not, so which is why I've not talked about them at all. But nonetheless, we are looking at a reasonably promising setup to potentially go higher. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts, where on SPX, if we were to see a decent rally, where would the obvious target be? Well, the right shoulder high would be at 69.20. I wouldn't be expecting to see that, but what I would be looking at is the daily middle band. I've got that. Obviously, it's falling fairly rapidly, but I've got that currently at 67.41, and I'm thinking that could be a doable target if the market can find anything to be optimistic about. I would say, though, that we recently broke down below the 200 DMA for the first time since, well, last May. And so far, that is holding as resistance. It might possibly continue to hold as resistance, but in which case, if we can just get a rally that lasts over a week, and form a right shoulder there, that could get us there on the right shoulder here, and this is the right shoulder which could take us down into the 5,000 area or slightly below. I think more or less, I think the 5,900 to 6,000 area, which would be, I think, a reasonable target. We're not really seeing anything on the hourly charts. We're not really seeing anything on the 15-minute charts. On Qs, ideally, we'd get back to the daily middle band, possibly to the 50 DMA, which was the resistance level. But I would note on the last bounce, we only made it up to the daily middle band, so that may now be the resistance level as well. I've got that at 600. The ideal right, this isn't a head and shoulders forming, so there is no right shoulder high. We've got the double top here. We've already broken down from it, and all we need to do is not break up at this point to continue down, and that would have a target in the 523 to 524 range. All right, again, nothing to see really on the hourly chart, or nothing to see on the 15-minute chart. We're not seeing the kind of moves where anything really would happen. Okay, Dire, again, Ideal right shoulder high would be in the 481 area. I'm not looking that high. I'm thinking in terms of the daily middle band, which is currently just under 475. We do have a daily RSI 5 buy signal fixed here. That doesn't need to deliver, but obviously I'm looking for a head and shoulder right shoulder here as well. And really, if we could get a rally which lasts a week or even possibly 2 weeks until after Easter, then that could be enough. Are there actually any peace talks going? Well, honestly, there don't seem to be at the moment. And may that start? I don't know. Is a flood of bullshit from the administration enough to keep the markets up? Well, it has been so far, and it's been 3 days, so that may well continue. We shall see. All right, look, but it's certainly promising overnight, even though everything that Trump was saying last night has basically been denied by the Iranians with some force overnight. We have actually got on the hourly chart here, we've got an RSI 14 buy signal that is fixed. That could make target. If we can see some more of a rally, we shall see. All right, let's have a look at IWM and the others. And IWM, again, I'd be looking at the daily middle band, not far above. We're looking at only getting to 253 there. That's not really an ambitious target. Again, we've got an RSI 5 buy signal fixed. That's looking promising. We've already got a head and shoulders here. The main thing I'm concerned about is I really don't want you to get over the right shoulder high, and that is at about 257.20. But as long as it respects the daily middle band, it's not going to get close to it. So could we be forming an alternate right shoulder here? Possibly, but I'm inclined to go with probably not. But yeah, if we went up, and even then the right shoulder high would be in the 256.88 area. I'm not really looking for that. We've got a decent looking head and shoulder pattern here. It's already broken down. It's all really about whether or not it fails, which at the moment doesn't look particularly likely. So nothing on the hourly chart, nothing on the 15-minute chart. In terms of DAX, I am wondering about a test of the daily middle band here. Do we have a pattern forming? No. There's really nothing that I'm looking at here which could be a head and shoulders. So we did have an RSI 5 buy signal fix here on the daily. That failed, but we've still got it on Nikkei. Nikkei, could that be forming a pattern here? Not unless that pattern is the double bottom. We could be seeing a double bottom which could break up over 55.7k and get us back up into a retest of this high. That's a possibility, but at the moment, unless things really perk up in the war, I'm not seeing it as a strong possibility. All right, I'm going to be doing a post about DX. I'm going to try and get that up today, but I'm going to be talking about the possibility that DX might get back up to basically the retest of the high in the 114.75 area, I think. That's a long way from here, but if the war goes badly, well, at the moment, when we have been seeing the war going badly, it has been the big beneficiary has been the dollar. Losers have been bonds and possibly precious metals, but I think precious metals might just be doing what I said it was likely to be doing, which is forming a bull flag. So, but bonds certainly have been going up. And I'm planning to do another post in the next few days about bonds and explaining what the disaster scenario if the war does go badly on bonds and why bonds might actually go down an awful lot and bond yields might go up an awful lot. So I'll talk about that. But here we've got a flag. That's breaking up. Not really a lot to see on the other currencies apart from the strange bear flag channel that we had on USD CAD is breaking up. That's not altogether a surprise. If we're going to see a big move up on the dollar, then that kind of needed to break. So we are seeing that at the moment. Not a lot else to see really there. So we've got a possible head and shoulders forming on Australian dollar, which would be very supportive of a move up on the dollar. So that USD CAD one was a real minority report. I'm not sad to see go. In terms of ZB, we've been seeing a bit of a running here. Does it look like a bear flag? Yes. It really does look like a bear flag. We've got a possible bottoming pattern on the ZN, and that could be a small double bottom. We could see some more rally here. We've got a possible 60-minute buy signal brewing here. The one on ZB just made target. But I am thinking we might see some more rally with equities. But here, bonds are trading basically with equities. If we see a big move down on equities, chances are we're going to see that big move down on bonds as well. All right, looking at CL, this is, we've been seeing some optimism overnight. Not well-founded optimism, I don't think, but I'll take it. I'm just basically seeing this as a bullish consolidation, and that's likely what it is, unless we do start seeing some really good news on the war. At the moment, there doesn't seem a lot of grounds for optimism, and it's just basically Trump in quicksand. So unless that changes, and who knows? I mean, the thing is, the Americans could have they've got a big advantage militarily. If they can leverage that and get out of this asymmetric warfare thing, where the fact is that, Iran can do a huge amount of damage with some very cheap weapons, of which it has loads. Then if they can actually take back the Strait of Hormuz, that could go okay. I'm hoping that the US does not invade Cog Island, because I have to say, just from a military perspective, that looks likely to end in disaster. And it would involve a lot of dead Americans, which I think would be a damn shame. We will see how that develops, but I'm hoping that doesn't happen. It does look as though a whole lot of Marines would be put into a situation where they're incredibly vulnerable and potentially might all actually end up getting killed. That would be bad. Though it would obviously be good for the oil price. All right, HO, sinking bullish consolidation as well. This could just be a straight up bull flag at the moment. And of course, we've got a potential little level bottom here on RBOB. We've got a potential little level bottom forming here, and wondering about that heading this back to the high. In terms of coil, the Brent crude might have a double bottom form here too. It kind of looks like a bull flag at the moment. NG. we've got a possible weak 6-minute buy signal brewing, and actually that is trying to fix at the moment. Might see a bit of a rally here, but I don't think really the war's been having much of an impact on this, and that may well continue to be the case. GC has made a lower low and may well have the overall flag that I was looking for. I'm wondering if it might start going up now, or at least bottoming out. On SI, we got a bit lower. Ideally, it would be a bit more, and it might develop into a bit more. Palladium, decent looking bull flag. Platinum, decent looking overall bull flag. We've long since made the targets for these initial bear flags that broke down. HG isn't a precious metal. It's important to remember that. This is a potential inverted head shoulders forming. We could see a decent rally, but in the event that we see the Iran war develop in a bad direction, I'm thinking that precious metals will probably start going up. I'm thinking HG would likely be going down. We shall see. In terms of KC, this is looking less like a bear flag now, but it doesn't really look like any kind of reversal pattern forming. Waiting to see how this develops, but I don't think this. Well, I think we're just looking at an oversold rally here. This has gone down quite a bit, so I don't think this is one of the things which is going to be sensitive to fertilizer shortages. Sugar, we've got a weak 6-minute sell signal fixed. Actually, that's a strong 6-minute sell signal that's fixed after this higher high and down. We've got a little double top here. If that continues down, that would have a target in about the 15 area. Looking at CC, this kind of looks like a move up little bull flag, and I'm wondering about a retest this high here just under 3,500. On CT, we've got a bull flag which is breaking up, looking for a retest of this high. This could form a larger bull flag, of course, with another lower low, but otherwise I'm looking for a retest of this high here in about 6,920 area. On lumber, we've seen a significant decline, no obvious pattern forming, but I'm wondering if the overall downtrend is just coming back and taking control. On wheat, I'm thinking bullish consolidation here, possible bull flag forming. I'm thinking the same on corn. I'm on soy. We will be looking at the same, but we do have a double top, a nice looking double top that's broken down here with a target in the 117 to 1120.75. We do have what looks like a smaller bear flag forming that could still be forming and do another high, but could be setting up basically the move to head down to those targets. On ZL, this looks like a bull flag, not particularly well formed, that might be breaking up but might need another leg down. On live cattle, we've got a bull flag that's breaking up, and lean hogs, I was looking for a little lower here and we've had it. This is actually a pretty nice looking bull flag. We've got a weak 6-minute buy signal fix. I'm wondering if this may well head back up and retest this high here in the basically in the 112 area. We shall see. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at questions. Does everyone have options problems using the GoTo app on my PC? It does have the occasional problem, but I mean, I think that's probably more to do with my memory management software. I do need to reboot my computer every morning. Yeah, might be a problem with Macs. All right, no other questions. In which case, I think that's a wrap. Should be an interesting day. I'm hoping that this rally is going to ease into a rally which lasts basically, ideally, through the end of next week until after Easter. There's not a lot of good news to be hanging the rally on at the moment. That doesn't seem to be stopping it. And as long as that continues, that's great. That would be forming some nice right shoulders for what I suspect would be the next leg down, unless we see a decent resolution to this war. We shall see how that goes. All right, cheers. Everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning.